Hello guys, welcome to another video. This one is paper 2-1 of November 2015 of Math of the IGCSE paper. Now, in this video, we're going to be doing all the questions one by one and of course step by step. So without further ado, let's move on to question number 1. So here we have, it is given that f of x is equal to this expression. Now, we have to show that x plus 2 is a factor of f of x. So the first step is you want to know what is the value that you want to use for x. Basically, we just have to take x plus 2, equate to 0. You will have x is equal to minus 2. So you have to use this value of x in this equation to show it is a factor of f of x. So you will take f of minus 2 is equal to 4 times minus 2 cube minus 4 times minus 2 square minus 15 times minus 2 and plus 18. So if it is a factor, this has to become 0. So let's see what happens. So we have 4 times minus 2 cube minus 4 times 4 plus 30 plus 18. That should be 0. So this is shown as required. Since the remainder is 0, it means that it is a factor of f of x. Now part 2, hence means we have to use your answer from part 1. Okay, factorize f of x completely, and then we have to solve the equation f of x equal to 0. So how do you factorize a cubic function completely? You have to do long division. You have to find all the factors of the expression. So let's do that. So first thing, we have to do long division for f of x. F of x is 4x cubed minus 4x squared minus 15x plus 18. So now we already know that we have factor is x plus 2. Okay, now we have to do long division. So one by one, how can you make x become 4x cubed? You have to multiply by 4 first and then by x squared. So you will have 4x cubed, and then this time this will be plus 8x squared. Now we have to simplify. These two will cancel out. Minus 4 minus 8 will be minus 12x squared. Then this are the same. And the next step, how can you make x become minus 12x cubed? You have to times minus 12x. So you have minus 12x cubed, so square, sorry, and that will be minus 24 and then plus 8. So this is 0 right now, we don't have anything, so that will be cancel out. Minus 15 plus 24 is what? Let's check. So minus 15 plus 24, that should be 9. So you have 9x plus 18. So finally we have to make x becomes 9x, so you have to multiply by plus 9. So you have 9x plus 18, and that will be 0. So finally we know that this f of x is also equal to this times this. So let's write this down. We have determined that f of x is equal to x plus 2 times 4x squared minus 12x plus 9. Now we have to factorize completely, so we have to factorize this one as well. If you observe, this one is a quadratic equation, so this is also equal to x plus 2, 2 brackets, and 4 is we can use 4 to be 2 times 2, right? 4 2x times 2x. 9 is 3 times 3. Okay, so to get minus 12 we have to have minus 6, so this times this will minus 6 minus 6. So minus 6 will become minus 12, and minus times minus become plus. So that is good factorization. So finally we have to solve f of x is equal to 0. So x will be minus 2 and x will be 3 over 2. And this will be your answer for question number 1. Now let's move on to question number 2. So we have to find in the simplest form the first 3 terms of the expansion. As always, let's expand one by one. So here we have power of 6, so let's use 6. Choose 0, that will be the first thing you have to write. And then here we have 2, we have 2. And here we have minus 3x, right? Minus 3x. Now this is 0, we have to write 0 here. 6 minus 0 is 6, that will be 6. So this is your first term. Plus, second term will be 6, choose 1, so 0, 1, right? And then the insides will be the same thing, but only the powers will change. This is 1, this has to be 1. 6 minus 1 is 5. And then the third term will be 6, choose 2. Inside the same as well, and then this is 2, this will be 2. 6 minus 2 is 4, this will be 4. So we have the first three terms of the expansion. Now we have to simplify. So 6 choose 0 is 1. 2 power 6 is 64. And this will be 1 as well. Now, because anything power 0 is 1, okay? That's why. Now, 6 choose 1 is 6. 2 power 5 is 32. You must always check because you never know in exams you can have mistakes. And this will be minus 3x. And 6 choose 2. That will be 15. 2 power 4 is 16, and that will be 9x squared. So now we have to simplify. That will become 64 minus 6 times 3, 2 times 3. That will be 576x. And then we have 15 times 16 times 9. That will be plus 2160x squared. So this will be the first three terms of this expansion. That is part 1. Now part 2, we have to find the coefficient of x squared, not cube, sorry, in the expansion of this one. Okay, so pretty easy. So we know this is the first function, but we know the first three terms of this already from part 1. We know this is 64 minus 576x plus 2160x squared. Now, of course, it keeps going on, but we are not interested by them. We only need to find the coefficient of x squared. So we have to expand those two. Now, we only need the one in x squared, so we don't need to expand everything, only the term that will form a term in x squared. So 1 will be only multiplying by this because that is the term in x squared. And here we have 2x, we have to multiply this by this because we need the term in x squared. That's why. Now simplify, you will have 2160 x squared minus 2x times minus 576x. So this is plus 2x, sorry. Plus 2x times minus this. So we have 2 times minus 576, that will be 2160x squared minus 1152x squared. So 2160 minus 1152, that will be 1008x squared. But your answer is not this, your answer is the coefficient, which is this number in front of the x squared. So your answer is 1008. Okay, that will be your question number 2. Now let's move on to question number 3. So relative to a point O, we have points A, B, and C have position vectors this, and this, respectively. So you have to know that what it means. It means that OA is equal to 5, 4. OB is equal to minus 10, 12. And OC is equal to 6 minus 18. Now, all distances are measured in kilometers, so that is something good to know. Now, a man drives at a constant speed directly from A to B in 20 minutes. That's something we have to use for the first question. Though it asks you to calculate the speed in kilometers per hour at which the man drives from A to B. Now, we have to find speed. Now, as you guys must know by now, speed is defined by distance divided by time. So that's the definition for speed. So we have to find the distance AB, right? So let's find the distance AB. So distance is magnitude of AB. So first we have to find what is AB. AB is equal to OB minus OA. So OB is minus 10, 12, minus OA is 5, 4. Minus 15, and that is 8, right? So now we have to find the distance, which is the magnitude of AB, By using a formula, that will be square root of the first number square, 15 square, plus 8 square. That will be square root of 289, which is equal to what? 17. So the distance AB is 17 kilometers. Now we know the time taken already from the question. So speed is equal to distance is 17 kilometers divided by time taken is 20 minutes, but to convert minutes into hours we have to divide by 60. Okay, because we know that 1 hour is 60 minutes, and to convert minutes into hours, minutes to hours, we have to divide by 60. Okay, so now we can find the answer. 20 divided by 60, 17 divided by answer, that will be 51. Speed is 51 kilometers per hour. That is your answer for part 1. Now for part 2, we have he now drives directly from B to C at the same speed. Same speed means at the 51 km per hour. Now part 2, we have to find out how long it takes him to drive from B to C. Again, we have to use our formula, as you guys know by now. Speed is equal to distance divided by time. So time is distance divided by speed. So first we have to find distance BC. That will be OC minus OB. So OC is 6 minus 18, and OB is minus 10, 12. That will give you 16 and minus 30. Yeah, so 6 minus 10 will be 16, minus 18 minus 12 will be minus 30. You can always check using your calculator as well. Now, we have to find the magnitude of BC. That will be square root, square the first value, plus 30 square as well. That will be 1156. Square root, that will be 34. This is the distance in terms of kilometers. Now, finally, to find the time taken, it is distance divided by speed, which is 51. That will be 2/3 hours, which is equal to what? If you want to convert hours into minutes, you have to multiply by 60. That is 40 minutes. Or you can write 40 minutes as your answer. Up to you. Now this is your question number 3. Let's move on to question number 4. So we have that A is equal to this matrix, B is equal to this. You have to find 2 times BA. So first thing is we can leave the 2 outside for now. Let's do B times A. B is 1 minus 2 minus 2, 3, 4, 0 times A. 2 is outside, and A will be 2, 3, 7 minus 1, 5, 4. So as always we do rows multiplied by column. Okay, so let's do that. 1 times 2, 1 times 2, plus minus 2 times 3, plus 4 times 7. That is the first value, which is 24. 1 times minus 1 on this one, plus minus 2 times 5, plus 4 times 4, that will be 5. Now let's do this one, rows by column. Minus 2 times 2, plus 3 times 3, plus 0 times 7, that will be 5. And then for this one, minus 2 times minus 1, plus 3 times 5, plus 0, that will be 17. So of course we have to bring the 2 outside. Now we can bring the 2 inside. You will have 48, 10, 10, and 34. That will be your answer for part A. Now let's move on to part B. We have 2 matrices, C and D, given to you by these 2. Now we have to first find C inverse. Now to find inverse, we have to first find the determinant of C. So we have to first cross multiply 1 times 6 minus 1 times 2. That will become 6 minus 2. That will be 8. Now we also have to find the adjoint matrix of C, which is change the position. 6 will go up, 1 will go down, and the sign of these 2, minus 1 become 1, 2 becomes minus 2. So finally, C inverse will be 1 over determinant times your adjoint matrix. So that will be your answer for part 1. Now for part 2, hence again means you have to use your answer from part 1 to find the matrix X. So let's do step by step. So right now we have Cx plus D is equal to I. So we have to find X, we have to make X become the subject of formula. So you'll have Cx is equal to I minus D. So what is I? I is 1, 0, 0, 1. It is your identity matrix. Minus D. D is given to you already as 3, 1, minus 2, 4. So let's solve this. 1 minus 3 is minus 2. 0 minus minus 2 is plus 2. 0 minus 1 is minus 1. 1 minus 4 is minus 3. So this is your answer for this one. Now we have to we have to remove this C. So to remove this C, we have to pre-multiply by C inverse. So we'll have this, and you will have this on this side. So these two sides, this will be cancelled away. So you will have X left is equal to C inverse, which is 1 over 8 times this, and times this one, which is this one, right? Now we have to simplify. So as always, it's rows by column. So 6 times minus 2 plus minus 2 times minus 1. The first value is, of course, we have to write this in front. You have minus 10. And then again, rows by column, 6 times 2 plus minus 2 times minus 3. Oh, same thing. That'll be 18. And then this one, 1 times minus 2 plus 1 times minus 1. Minus 1. So X is equal to 1 over 8 times minus 10, 18, minus 3, minus 1. This is your value for the matrix X. And that is your question number 4. Now let's move on to question number 5. So we have to solve the following equations to find P and Q. So we have to first simplify the equation. So let's look at one by one. So from the first equation, you observe that we have powers, right? And we have the base of 8, 2, and 4. So what do they have in common? You see that the numbers 8, 2, and 4, they are all multiples of 2, if that makes sense. So what it means is you see 8 is basically 2 power 3. 4 is 2 power 2. So replace back in your equation, you will have 2 power 3q minus q times 2 power 2p plus 1 equal to 2 power 14. So basically this equation can be written as this. Now we have to simplify. When you have multiply of indices, we can just add the top. You will have 3q minus 3 plus this one, you will have 3q plus 2p minus 2 is equal to 214. Now these two will cancel out. You will have remaining 3q plus 2p equal to 16. That is your equation number 1. Now same thing for this one. Looking at the base, you have 9, 3, 81. We realize that these numbers are multiples of 3. So what do I mean is, I know that 9 is equal to 3 power 2. 81 is equal to 3 power 4. We can check. So 3 power 4 is 81. That's why. Replace back in your equation, you will have, so 3, 2p minus 8 times 3q equal to 3 power 4. Now again, simplify, you will have 3, 2p minus 8 plus q is equal to 3 power 4. Now we have to simplify. Same base cancel out, so you will have 2p plus q is equal to 12. That is your equation number 2. So now we have two simultaneous equations that we have to solve. Now, of course, step by step. So here we have 2p, and here we have 2p. So let's make this one subject, or this one subject of formula. So 2p is equal to 16 minus 3q. Replace 2p in this one, you will have 16 minus 3q plus q is equal to 12. So you have minus 2q is equal to minus 4. So q will be 2, right? Now value of p, 2p we know it is equal to 16 minus 3 times 2, that will be 10. So p will be 5. So we have these two values of p and q. Now let's move on to part B of the question. So here we have logarithm equation to solve. So first thing, let's send every log to one side. So you will have log of 3x minus 2 plus log of x plus 1 plus log of 2 equal to 2. Now since all the log are the same, we can combine them together. So take one big log, and here we have 3x minus 2. Plus means multiply, you have this, plus again multiply, you'll have 2. Now to eliminate log, you have to understand that log is log to the base of 10. So to eliminate this, to send this over here, you will have something like this. You will have 3x minus 2 x plus 1 times 2 is equal to 10 power 2, which is 100, right? If you check, 10 squared is 100. Now divide by 2 on both sides, it will become 50. So now we have to expand the brackets. You will have 3x squared plus 3x minus 2x minus 2 is equal to 50. Now send everything to one side. You will have 3x squared plus x minus 52 equal to 0. So now we have to factorize. So if you don't know the factors of 52, you can just use the formula directly to find the answer. If you know, you can check, divide by 17. So we can check, but I'm not too sure. 52 divided by 2, divide by 2. So from what I can see, I have, it's showing to be what? 52, it is 1 times 52. 2 times what? 26. And 4 times 13 from what I can see. 4 times 13 is 52. Now we have to make this become 1, so we have to put 4 here and 13 here. So to get 1 here, we have to have plus 13 and minus 12. Okay, so your answer can be x equal to minus 13 over 3 or x equal to 4. Because as you can see here, x is a logarithm function and they cannot take negative values, so this one will be rejected. Okay, so you have only one left, which is this value here will be your answer, x equal to 4. And that will be your question number 5. Now let's move on to question number 6. So here we have a curve. It is showing to be a sine curve according to your question. Now we have to find the values of a, b, and c. So let's first find the value of a by using this first point. You have to know that a, whenever you have a sine function or cos function or tan function but plus something, this something is called the y-intercept. It means that where it cuts your y-axis. So we know that at the point where this is the point. What point is that? It is the point 0 and 3. This is x and this is y. Replace back in your equation. You will have 3 is equal to a plus b sine of 0. So a has to be 3. That is your first value that you have right now. Now b is called the amplitude of the curve. Now from this point we have to draw a line in between, and the distance, as you can see, will be equally on both sides. So which means if you count 1, 2 here, it will also be 1, 2 on top. So since they are equal on both sides, the value 2 will be b. So b is equal to the amplitude, it is equal to 2. So right now what do we have? Right now we have y is equal to a is 3 plus b is 2 sine of cx. Now c is the number of cycles in 360 or 2 pi or 360 degrees, so we can count. So this is 1 cycle, 2 cycle, 3 cycle, and 4 cycle. So it means that C has to be 4. So here you go. Your conclusion will be A is 3, B is 2, and C is equal to value 4. And that is your answer for part 1. Now let's move on to part 2. Using these values of A, B, and C, we have to find the values of dy by dx. So let's begin. Y is equal to 3 plus 2 sine 4x. So what is dy by dx? So let's check it out. That will become, this will be 0. 2 is only a multiple. We can leave it outside. dy by dx of sine, it will become cos. Here we have 4x, but of course we have to multiply by 4 because we have to multiply by the differentiation of the angle, which is 4x here. Now 4 times 2 will be 8 cos 4x, and this will be your dy by dx of this function. Now let's move on to part 3. So you have to find the equation of the normal to the curve at this point. Okay, so one thing you have to understand is that what is the normal? The normal is a line that cuts the curve at 90 degrees. So basically, let's say your curve is like this, right? And let's say this is the point that we want to find the normal at. So let's say we have a point here, we have the tangent going here, and then we have the normal will be at 90 degrees to the tangent. So we want to find the equation of this line. Now, to find the equation of a straight line, you must first find the gradient of the line. I hope that makes sense, right? So to find the gradient of you first have to find the gradient of the tangent. Now, you must know by now, gradient of tangent is simply dy by dx. Now we know dy by dx from part 2 is equal to 8 cos 4x. So we have to find the value at x equal to pi over 2. So let's find the value. 8 cos 4 times pi over 2. That will be 2 pi. So that will be 8 cos 2 pi. This is simply replacing the values, nothing hard here. Of course, we have to use radians. So 8 cos 2 pi, that will be 8. The answer will be 8. So we know that the gradient of tangent will be 8. So from this, you have to know that the gradient of normal is minus 1 over 8. The reason why is because it is a perpendicular to the tangent. That's why we say. So usually what do we have to know? It's always true. You have to know that if you take the gradient of tangent multiply by the gradient of its normal, it have to give you minus 1. So here we know the gradient of tangent is 8 multiplied by this have to give you minus 1. So this will be minus 1 over 8. That's how we know it is this value. Now since you have the gradient, you can find the equation of that line by using the passing point, which is this point. This is your x, this is your y, so you have to use y minus 3 on top, divide by x minus pi by 2 on the bottom is equal to minus 1 over 8. So now we cross multiply, you will have 8y minus 24 is equal to minus x plus pi by 2. Now simplify, that will be 8y is equal to minus x plus pi by 2 plus 24. And this is your answer for part 3 of question number 6. Now let's move on to question number 7. So this one is it's kind of tricky, but it is a very interesting question. So let's follow step by step and make sure you understand what's happening, okay? So here we have a cone of height 8. That's the cone of height 8. Now a base radius of 6. This length is 6, okay? It is placed over a cylinder of radius r and height h. So inside here it is a cylinder. The radius is r, the height is h. So which means this is also r because it's also the radius of the cylinder, okay? Now we have it is in contact with the cylinder along the cylinder's upper rim, okay? These two touches each other. Now the arrangement is symmetrical, which means that it is exactly half and half, right? Both sides are the same. And the diagram shows a vertical cross-section through the vertex of the cone. So cross-section means a side view. When you cut this right in between, the side view, for example, when you see your calculator here, this is the top view, but this is the side view. So this is called a cross-section of this calculator, for example, so you understand what it is telling you. No? Now part 1, we have to use similar triangles to express h in terms of r. That's the first step. So now you have to observe to see what can you do. So let's take a look at only one side of this shape. So how many triangles can you see? You can see there's one triangle here, there's one triangle here, and we have the big triangle. So basically we know that all these three triangles, they are actually similar to each other. So whenever you have a triangle in another triangle and the base are in the same direction, they are similar. So just remember that whenever you have a triangle, so let's say you have a triangle here, you have this is this side, you have another triangle inside of the other triangle, but they have the same direction for the base, it means these two are similar. So same thing here, you have this triangle, and the big one. So these three are similar. Now you have to choose which one you will use to prove h in terms of r. So by observation, I will choose, because I know this big length, big height, I know this big base, so I will choose this big triangle. That's my first choice. And I know this height, and I can't find this base, so I will choose this one as my second option. Okay, so height is h, so what is the base? So if you observe, if this is 6, this is r, this will be 6 minus r. So now just to help you guys, let me take out the triangle. So the big one, let's say this is the big one, right? This is the big one, this is 8, and this is 6. Now let's take out the small one. Small one here, it is 6 minus r, and the height is h. So we have two triangles. These two triangles are similar, which means that their corresponding sides will be proportional to each other. So by using this fact, we can prove that we can show h in terms of r. So basically we can write down h over the corresponding side, 8, is equal to 6 minus r over the corresponding side, 6. Okay, so let's write this equation here. So basically right now we know that h over 8 is equal to 6 minus r over 6. So let's simplify. Let's send this over here. You will have h will be 6 minus r, so times 8, divided by 6. So you have 8 times 6 minus 8r divided by 6. That will be 8 minus, that will be 4 over 3r. So finally, h is equal to 8 minus 4 over 3r. That is part 1 of the question, h in terms of r. Now let's move on to part 2. Hence, show that the volume of a cylinder is given by this equation. So you guys must know by now, volume of a cylinder is given by the formula pi r square h. Pi is pi, r square is r square, h is 8 minus 4 over 3 r. Replace, you will have, so 1 by 1 you will have 8 pi r square minus 4 over 3 pi r cube. That is the volume of that. This is shown as required. That is part 2. Now let's move on to part 3. Given that r can vary, find the value of r, which gives a stationary value at v. So pretty easy. You guys should know that at stationary value, it is always the fact that here we have v, so dv by dr has to be 0. So we know v is given by this formula, 8 pi r square minus 4 over 3 pi r cube. So we have to find dv by dr and equate to 0 to find the value of r. So let's first find dv by dr. That will be 16 pi r minus 4 pi r square, equate that to 0. So we can factorize the r outside. You will have 16 pi minus. Okay, so we can factorize a lot more outside. Let's try again. Factorize r is the first thing. We can factorize 4, also pi. So you will have 4 remaining here, minus r is equal to 0. So this will go away because r cannot be 0. R is the radius, r will be 4. So at this value of r, we have the stationary value of v. Replace back in your equation, you will have 8 pi 4 square minus 4 over 3 pi 4 cube. It says find this value in terms of pi, so we have to retain this value here. So 8 times 4 square is 128 pi minus 4 over 3 times 4 power 3. That will be 85 1/3 pi. So 128 minus answer, that will be 42 2/3 pi units. I think it's centimeters, right? Centimeters cube. This is your answer for the volume. And finally, we have to find the nature of this value. So to find nature, we have to, of course, look for d2v by dr2 square. So we have to differentiate this again. That will become 16 pi minus 8 pi r. So we have to replace the value of r by 4 to find the value. So by doing this, you will have 16 pi minus 32 pi. That will become minus 16 pi. So you will write, since the value of d2v by dr2 is less than 0, it is negative value, we have shown that the stationary value of v is a maximum value. So if this value is negative, it is a maximum value. So let's say if it was positive, it will be a minimum value. So that's how you determine the nature of that point. That will be your question number 7. Now let's move on to question number 8. Solutions to this question by drawing will not be accepted, so you have to only do by calculation, step by step. So here we have 2 points A and B given to you, and part 1, we have to find the point C is the point where the line AB cuts the y-axis. So we first have to find the line AB. So let's first do that. To find the line AB, we first have to find the gradient AB. That will be y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. That will be 6 over 12. That will be 1/2. Now using the point minus 3, 2, that will be xy. Y minus 2 over x plus 3 is equal to 1 over 2. Cross multiply, you will have 2y minus 4 is equal to x plus 3. Now this is your equation of your line AB. Now we say this line cuts the y-axis at the point C. So you guys must know by now, at y-axis, the value of x has to be 0. So y will be 3.5. The point C will be 0 and 3.5. That is your point C. Now for part 2, find the coordinates of D, the midpoint of AB. So pretty easy. The point A has been given to you by minus 3, 2. The point B have been given to you by 9, 8. So the point D will be the midpoint given by formula x1 plus x2. That will be 6 divided by 2 will be 3. 2 plus 8 will be 10 divided by 2 will be 5. This is your point D. Now let's move on to the next one. We have to find the equation of the perpendicular bisector of AB. So pretty easy again. So we know that this is the line AB, for example. We want to find the equation of the perpendicular bisector of AB. So this is A, this is B. So this line here, the blue line, you want to find the blue line. This line goes through the point D, which is because it's the midpoint, right? And we know the gradient of this line as well, because we know the gradient of A was given to us from part 1 as half. So it means that the gradient of the perpendicular bisector will be minus 2. So we can use this gradient and this passing point to find the equation. So let's do that. So we have x value y, so y minus 5 over x minus 3 minus 2 over 1. That will be 1 minus 5 is equal to minus 2x plus 6. Y is equal to minus 2x plus 11. That will be your answer for part 3. Now for part 4, we have the perpendicular bisector of AB cuts the y-axis at the point A. Now this line here, it cuts the y-axis at the point A. So find the point E. Pretty easy again. You can write at the y-axis, you must know that value of x has to be 0. Replace in, you will have y equal to 0 plus 11. That will be 11. So the point E will be given by 0, 11. Now the last question. Show that the area of triangle ABE is 4 times the area of triangle ECD. So you can do this step by step. You can just calculate the areas and prove that it's true, right? So let's do that. That's one way of doing that, right? So if you want to, we can make a drawing and see what do we have. That will be another option too, if you want to try that. But no worries, let's just do the easiest way, so you don't have to draw anything. A will be minus 3, 2. B is 9, 8. C has been found from part 1 as 0, 3.5. D is the midpoint, 3, 5. And E is the value of 0, 11. So first let's find area of ABE. Formula is half times modulus. A is minus 3, 2. B is 9, 8. C is 0, 3.5. When you begin with a point, you have to end with the same point. Okay, that will be to find the formula of this triangle. Now we have to multiply in this direction. So minus 3 times 8 plus 9 times 3.5 plus 0 times 2. That will be, so half again, modulus 7.5 minus 2 times 9 plus 0 plus 3.5 times minus 3. That will be 7.5. So there must be something weird here. I don't see. Let me try again because pretty strange. That will be 18, 0 and this. So let's try. So let's first try minus 3 times 8 plus 9 times 3.5 and plus 0. That will be 7.5. Okay, that is the first part. 2 times 9 is 18 plus 0 plus minus 3 times 3.5. Same value again. So that gives you 0. So area of ABE is 0. That's not a possible value to use here. Oh, I made a mistake again. Okay, sorry about that, guys. You see, the mistake I made here was I was trying to find the area of ABE, but I used the point C. I have to use the point E. 0, 11. This will be 11. So not this one. That's why it was a mistake. So let's continue. That will be half. This is what? So minus 3 times 8 plus 9 times 11 plus 0. That will be 75. Okay. And the minus 2 times 9 plus 0 plus minus 3 times 11. That will be minus 15. So 75 minus 15, that will be 90. Half, that will be 45. So triangle AB is 45 units. Now we have to find the area of triangle ECD. So let's do that. ECD. So make sure you choose the right points, because you see there's pretty dumb mistake. You should not be making those mistakes. E is 0, 11. C is 0, 3.5. D is 3.5. Sorry, 3 and 5. When you begin with the point, you have to end with the same point. Will be first in this direction. So half. So 0, 0, this will be 3 times 11. That will be 33. Minus and then in this direction that will be simply the value, because 11 times 0 is 0, this time this, and this. So this is what? 3.5 times 3, that will be 10.5. So 3 minus answer divided by 2, that will be 11.25. So let's find out if that is true. So we have to find the ratio of triangle ABE divided by ECD. It is 45 divided by 1125. It is 4 times. So you have shown that it is 4 times as big as the other one. That is for question number 8. Okay, let's move on to question number 9. So we have to solve the equation. Let's do one by one. So here we have an equation for sine and cos. So whenever you have this, you have to just divide by cos 2x. You will have 4 tan 2x plus 5 is equal to 0. So tan 2x is equal to minus 5 divided by 4. So now, since tan is negative, you know that it has to be in your second quadrant and your fourth quadrant. This will be 180 minus theta. This will be 360 minus theta. So first, let's find the value of theta. Theta is not the answer. Theta is what value? It is tan inverse. So let me call this theta hat, not to confuse you. So whenever I have this as negative, I use this technique where I try to find theta first. Theta is tan inverse of the positive value of this. So tan inverse of 5 divided by 4, that should be, in terms of degrees, that will be 51.3. So 51.3 degrees. Now from this, you have to find the value of 2x. So 2x has to be according to your quadrants. First one is 180 minus 51.3, that will be 128.7, and then 360 minus 51.3, that will be 308.7. So x will be 128.7 divided by 2, that will be 64.4 degrees, and then 308.7 divided by 2, that will be 154.4 degrees. That will be your answer for part 1. For 2 values. Of course, you have to check they are inside this domain. Now for part 2, we have this equation. We have to solve for the values of y between 0 and 360. So now question is, how can you connect these two together? So you have to look at your list of formula given to you. So you will see there's an equation here that you can use to help you with that. So you have something right here. Okay, so let's write this down. You will have cosec square y is equal to 1 plus cot square y. So let's make this become subject. You will have cot square y is equal to cosec square y minus 1. So replace this by this in this equation. So let's do that. You will have cosec square y minus 1 plus 3 cosec y equal to 3. Now cosec square y plus 3 cosec y minus 4 equal to 0. Now we have to factorize. That will be cosec y and cosec y. 4 is 4 times 1, right? Now to get plus 3, we have to have plus 4 minus 1. So your answer is cosec y is equal to 1, or cosec y is equal to minus 4. Now you have to know that cosec is actually what? Cosec y is 1 over sine y. So basically sine y is equal to 1, or sine y is equal to minus 1 over 4. So now you have to find the answers one by one. So for the first one, sine is positive, it will be in your first quadrant and your second quadrant. So this one we can find directly because it is a positive value here. Y will be sine inverse of 1. It is 90 degrees, and that will be the only answer. Now for this one, let's see. Y will be, so we have to first exactly know what's happening. Because it is negative, it will be in your third quadrant and your fourth quadrant. This is 180 plus theta, and this is 360 plus theta. Of course, we have to first find the value of theta because it is negative. So theta will be sine inverse of the positive value of this. You will have what? Inverse of 1 over 4. That will become 14.5 degrees. Now, using this value of theta, let's find the value of y. Y is according to your quadrants. 180 plus 14.5 is 194.5, and 360 minus, sorry, this is minus here, minus 14.5 has to be 345.5. So as you can see, you will have three answers for your value of y. Y can be 90 degrees, 194.5, and finally 345.5. And this is your answer for part 2 of this question. Now let's move on to part 3 of this question. So we have to solve this one between this domain and giving your answer as a multiple of in terms of pi. Okay, that's a good thing to know. Now first thing first, as you can see, it is negative here. It has to be in your so when cos is negative, it cannot be here, cannot be, so you have to be in your second quadrant and your third quadrant. Second quadrant will be pi minus theta, and this will be pi plus theta. Because also it is negative, we have to first find the value of theta, as we have seen before. So theta is not the answer. Theta is just cos inverse of the positive value of this. So as you guys know by now, cos inverse of half is 60 degrees. It is pi by 3. Okay, you can check, of course. 0.5 should be 60 degrees, but you have to give your answer in terms of radians. Now this is value of theta, which is not your answer. Your answer will be the value of the angle inside, z plus pi by 4. That will be according to your quadrants. The first one is given by pi minus this. So pi minus this will be 2 pi over 3. And pi plus this should be 4 pi over 3. Now we have, as you can see here, z plus this angle. So here the domain is 0 and z. Let's make z become z plus pi by 4 just to help you to understand what's happening. So this will be 0 plus this will be pi by 4, and this plus this should be giving you, we have to do fractions, so that will be 8 plus that will be 9 pi by 4. Okay, so that will be the domain for this function. Now we can try to see if there's any other values for your value of the angle. We can try to add 2 pi to see if it is inside or not. For example, it is only testing to make sure that we don't miss any values. Okay, so if you plus 2 pi to this, that will give you, so that will be over the value of 3, of course. The base will be 3 still, and then this will be 6 plus that will be 8 pi over this. So 8 times pi divided by 3 is 8.377. What is this limit? 9 times pi divided by 4, 7.068. This one is outside, so you will not be in the range. So that was only a testing step to see if we had this value or not. But now we can proceed to the next step. Now z becomes formula. This becomes subject of formula. We have to send this over here. You will have 2 pi over 3 minus pi over 4, and also 4 pi over 3 minus pi over 4. So let's simplify one by one. First one is 2 over 3 minus 1 over 4. That will give you 5 over 12 pi. And this one is 4 over 3 minus 1 over 4. That will give you, so 1, 1. So it is 1 over 12. So 1 times 12 plus 1 will be 13 over 12. So 13 over 12 pi will be your answer. So these two will be the angles that you need for this question. Now finally, let's move on to question number 10. So a particle is moving in a straight line such that its velocity v t seconds after passing a point O is given by this formula. This is v. Now part 1, we have to find an expression for the displacement s of this. So you have to know, how do you get s from v? So s can be found by integrating v with respect to dt. So you will have integration of exponential 2 minus 6x, this one minus 1 dt. That will be equal to what? Let's see. You will have exponential 2t over 2. That will become plus 3 exponential minus 2t and minus t plus c. That will be your value of s. Now you have to find this value of c. Something is always almost true. If it is not mentioned anywhere, it is always true. You have to know that when time equal to 0, s also has to equal to 0. So you have 0 here. That will be 1 over 2 plus 3. That will be times 1 minus 0 plus c. So c will be minus 3 halves. So your answer will be s is equal to exponential this over 2 plus 3 exponential minus 2t minus t plus become minus 3 halves, 3.5. That will be your value of s. Now part 2, using this thing, or otherwise find the time when the particle is at rest. So you have to know at rest the value of v is 0. So v is given to you already by this equation is 0. So now we just have to play with the equation a bit. So this can become what? So we have exponential 2t minus 6 over exponential 2t minus 1 is 0. Replace this by u. You will have u minus 6 over u minus 1 equal to 0. Now to eliminate the denominator, we have to multiply by u everywhere. You will have u squared minus 6 minus u equal to 0. So u squared minus u minus 6 equal to 0. Now we have to simplify. So factorize u 3, 2 minus 3 plus 2. So let's continue other side. So you will have right now, you will have u is equal to 3 and u is equal to minus 2. But u is actually equal to exponential 2t is 3, exponential 2t is minus 2. Exponential cannot be negative, so we have to reject this value. So 2t will be ln of 3, t will be ln of 3 divided by 2. Of course, you can find the value in terms of decimal. That will be 0.549 seconds. That will be your value of t. Now moving on to part 3 of this question, we have to find the acceleration at this time. Now, to find acceleration from v, a is equal to dv by dt. That will be equal to 2 exponential 2t plus 12 exponential minus 2t. This will be 0. It is only a constant. So you have to know v was given to you by this equation. It is given to you according to the question. So dv by dt, which is a, equal to this one. Okay, so now we have to find the value of a when the value of t is equal to this. So what is that value? So let's see. So t was equal to, you can simplify this as ln of 3 power half. So let's replace the values. You will have 2 exponential 2 times t, so half will be cancelled. You have ln of 3 plus 12 over exponential 2 and half will be cancelled out. You have ln of 3. That will become 2 1 plus 12 over sorry, this is actually not 1, this is 3. Okay, this will be cancelled out. Whenever you have exponential power of ln, this cancel out, this becomes the value, and 12 divided by 3 as well. That will become 6 plus 4 is 10 meters per second square. And that is your answer for part 3. Okay, so that will be the last question of this paper. That was question number 10. I hope that was somewhat useful, and as always, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you soon.